As was said during these greetings, Naples is an amazing city and is the city in which a lot of culture can mix. And that's why now we will start to listen some stories of people that are bringing the change in this city, that are bringing internationalism to this city. And the first person that will tell us this story is Dori Balbi, that is the representative of the Consulate of USA here in Naples, the Director of Economic Affairs. Thank you.
Noticed by your program that Donald Moore, the actual Consul General, was supposed to be here today, but he could not. In addition to the fire at the Science Museum on Monday, a building fell down across the street from the consulate, and we are just getting back to our building today. So he's a little preoccupied with making sure everything is working there. But I'm delighted to be here representing him. I have to admit that I'm going to have to look down quite a bit because I wasn't prepared for this speech, much like Mariano D'Amore. But I've been practicing for the last half hour, so we'll see how well it goes. Again, I congratulate the faculty of the university as well as the ASIC organizers for putting on this conference. It's great to see such a huge turnout. I think roughly 200 students are here from all over the Mediterranean basis. Actually, I'll try to talk a little slower because I realize everybody's first language is not English, which I am so grateful. I am not speaking Italian today. I've only been here 3 months, and I'm learning piano, and eventually I'll be good at it, I hope. Next year. Okay. Of course. Let's see. The United States, Europe, and the Mediterranean are in an era of real choices. We're making decisions today. We all recognize that the economic globalization is a fact. It's not whether or not we want to participate, it's just how are we going to participate and deal with the realities of this. Technology and social media will continue to make us more interconnected and will become increasingly important for economic growth and communication. For you all, for your generation, I mean, this is such a boom. I'm from an older generation, and some of you really see the generation gap when it comes to communicating. My son is 25 and graduated from university a couple years ago, and all of this networking and communication is second nature. So you really have an advantage over your predecessors in embracing the global world. In the U.S., we have no doubt that much of the current and future strength of our economy will depend on growth and innovation stemming from digital technologies. These technologies go well beyond the business world, and as you've seen around the globe, are affecting politics, entertainment, and culture. No longer can any society be isolated. And you've seen big changes that you have brought in the Middle East and other places. So for everybody's the good of the future, your connectedness will make a big difference. Today's conference, I'm told, is focused on how the strategic use of online and mobile content can help companies expand their markets. Many of the founders of great tech companies launched their businesses at a very young age. Bill Hewitt and David Packard were 27 and 28 when they founded Hewlett-Packard in their one-car garage. They did so in the west of the U.S., where I'm from, so I'm extra proud of them. Steve Wozniak was 27 when he quit HP and co-founded Apple with Steve Jobs, who was then just 21 years old. Airbnb was co-founded by a 28-year-old Brian Chesky. I'm sure many of you have heard of the small but valuable company called Instagram. Its co-founders are in their 20s. And here in Italy, Venere, Lux, Dada, Vitaminic, Mosaicon, and all have founders in their 20s and 30s. The young tend to be less constrained by norms and traditional ways of doing things. Lack of experience can translate into a more flexible thinking and openness to different ideas. The skills that are necessary for innovation. It's not to say that older entrepreneurs aren't also an asset to any economy. A study from Singularity University in Silicon Valley revealed that twice as many entrepreneurs were over 50 as are under 25. Then again, the odds are kind of in that favor given there's more people over 50 than under 25. But there's one thing these older entrepreneurs have in common. When they were younger, most of them worked at companies that let them gain valuable experience, take on responsibility, and create networks of contacts, all elements that help eventually lead to successful startups. One example that comes to mind for me is the company 3M. For years, and I assume they're still doing this, their engineers are given one work day a week to do whatever they want. And in doing so, then, and they don't necessarily have to be successful, they just have to try things. And wonderful ideas have come out of this freedom to do what they want and freedom to fail. And that's one of the things I think that constrains some older traditional thinking is that you have to be willing to fail in order to keep moving forward. And I think that younger generations like you understand that even better than your predecessors. In addition to these startups, though, we can't do everything online, which is why seminars like this are crucial to helping young business people develop practical skills and, above all, create the human networks to help in your future careers. Because so much does take place via social media, it's very important that the human touch is not lost in building these networks and these connections. I encourage all of you to take advantage of these 5 days to develop your networks and your opportunities. Both the Mediterranean and the United States depend on the skills and enterprise of people like you. Thank you, e buon lavoro.